Ever wished for an assistant who actually loved data entry, like someone or something that
Right.
could wrangle those spreadsheets and invoices so you wouldn't have to?
Oh, is that even possible? Sign me up.
Right. Well, get this today. We're diving into the world of Emily, an AI designed to do just that.
Okay, now that sounds fascinating. I have to admit, the idea of an AI data entry specialist is pretty cool.
It's like something out of a futuristic office, right? But you know what? This isn't science fiction anymore. We've got some really interesting stuff to unpack today, a whole profile of Emily and her capabilities, a report on how businesses are already using AI like her, and even some code snippets that give us a peek under the hood.
Code snippets, you promise no tech overload.
I did. Don't worry, I'm not about to launch into a programming lecture. We're just going to skim the surface, I promise.
Yeah.
But first things first, what exactly can Emily do?
Well, imagine this. You've got a stack of invoices, tax forms, payroll data, all that fun stuff. Emily can take it all, process it, extract the important info, and organize it.
It's like having a coworker who actually enjoys paperwork.
Except Emily never takes a coffee break, and probably way faster.
True. Okay, that's impressive and all, but this report we have claims Emily is more than just a digital filing cabinet. There's this graph, right? It basically shows how businesses using AI like Emily are seeing huge improvements, and it's not just about getting things done faster.
You're right, it's much bigger than that. It's like this ripple effect across the entire business. This report, it really emphasizes elevated customer engagement as a major benefit.
Okay, so how does an AI data entry specialist lead to happier customers?
Well, think about it. When AI takes on the tedious stuff, companies have more time and resources to really focus on what matters their customers. Instead of generic responses and long wait times, imagine AI that personalizes interactions, gives instant support, basically makes customers feel like VIPs.
So are we saying businesses can use AI to turn customer service into a relationship-building opportunity? Because I'm all for that.
Exactly. That's the whole idea. It's about using AI to enhance the human touch, not replace it. And let's be real, nobody enjoys being bogged down by busy work. This report talks about something they call amplified team productivity, and I'm not going to lie, that phrase is like music to any manager's ears.
Oh, absolutely. So how does Emily, our AI data whiz, change the game for teams?
Well, it's all about collaboration, right? Emily takes on those repetitive, time-consuming tasks, those energy-draining tasks. And when that happens, it frees up human team members to focus on more creative, strategic work.
So it's not about replacing humans, it's about giving them the tools to be even better at what they do. That's a really interesting way to look at it.
Exactly. It's all about humans and AI working together, each playing to their strengths.
I like where this is going. Now, this report also mentions something called efficient document automation. It talks about how AI uses natural language processing, or NLP, to understand and handle documents. I'm guessing this is where those code snippets you mentioned come into play.
You got it. NLP is basically giving a computer the ability to read and understand language, like we do. It's more than just recognizing words. It can pull out key information, recognize patterns, even understand context.
It's like teaching a computer to not just see the letters on a page, but to actually get what they mean.
Exactly. It's impressive, really. And you know what that means. Faster processing, fewer errors, and a lot less headache for everyone involved.
Now, that is something I think we can all get behind. But I have to ask, okay, that makes sense. So NLP helps Emily understand the meaning behind the words, but how does she know what to do with that information? Like, how does she know what to pull out and organize? It's not like we can just hand her a document and say, figure it out, right?
You're right, it's not magic. It takes some clever coding to connect that language understanding to actual action, to bridge that gap between getting the words and knowing what to do with them.
So how does Emily do it? Is there some kind of secret AI code for recognizing important data?
Well, it's not exactly a secret, but it is pretty neat how it works. Remember those code snippets you mentioned earlier?
Right, the ones that give us a peek behind the curtain.
Exactly. Those snippets actually highlight how Emily uses something called pattern matching to find and extract the data she needs.
Pattern matching. Okay, now you've got my attention. What is that?
Well, think of it like those spot the difference puzzles, except Emily's doing it with data instead of pictures. She's trained to recognize repeating patterns in the way information is presented, those little clues that tell her what's important.
Okay, so let me see if I'm following. It's like, if she sees a date format consistently followed by a dollar amount, she learns that this pattern usually means invoice date and payment due. Is that kind of it?
That's a great way to put it. It's about her recognizing those patterns and using that to understand and pull out the information.
That's wild. It's like she's learning the grammar of data entry or something. But what about all the concern around data privacy these days? I mean, Emily's processing invoices and payroll data. That's some pretty sensitive stuff.
You've hit on a really important point. Building trust in AI means addressing data privacy head on, and that's something the developers of Emily clearly had in mind when they were building her.
Oh, what makes you say that?
Well, you remember when we were looking at the code snippets and I pointed out that part about document understanding and respecting PII or personally identifiable information?
Right, right. I remember that stood out to me too. But what does that mean practically speaking? How does Emily actually keep that sensitive information safe?
It all comes down to how she's been trained and how she's been coded, really. It's all connected, you know? See, Emily doesn't just blindly copy and paste data. Through NLP, she actually understands what she's processing, what she's looking at.
Okay, so she's not just moving data around, she's actually thinking about it.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So when Emily encounters information that's been flagged as PII things like social security numbers, addresses, phone numbers, she knows to treat it differently. Meaning it's not just about extracting the data, it's about understanding its context and handling it appropriately. So this might involve anonymizing the data for certain uses, encrypting it for secure storage, or only using it in specific ways that have been pre-authorized, based on security protocols. It all depends on how the system has been set up to prioritize and ensure privacy.
So it sounds like Emily's not just efficient, she's like a secure vault for important information. That definitely puts my mind at ease, I gotta say, knowing that AI like this is being developed with data security as a top priority. But I have to ask, with all this talk about AI handling these complex tasks, where does that leave us humans? What's the big picture here?
That's a big question, a question a lot of people are asking. And it's one we'll dig into right after this quick break. We'll explore this whole evolving landscape of work in the age of AI and what it means for all of us.
Now, this is where things get really interesting. Don't go anywhere, listeners. We'll be right back with more on the fascinating world of AI and efficiency. All right, so we're back. And listeners, I know you're out there thinking the same thing I am. What happens to us in a world where computers can do so much? I mean, it's a little unnerving, right?
I get it. It's a question a lot of people are asking, and it's a valid one. But instead of thinking about it as humans versus AI, it might be more helpful to see it as a kind of evolution. The way we work is changing. Right?
Okay, an evolution. I like that. So
Yeah.
less about robots coming to take our jobs, more about what exactly?
More about humans and AI working together. Like, imagine a workplace where AI takes care of all those tasks that are, let's face it, pretty tedious, all that repetitive data-heavy stuff. That frees up human employees to really use their unique skills. Things like creativity, critical thinking, complex problem solving, all the things AI just isn't quite there yet.
So less time filling out spreadsheets, more time for brainstorming and big picture thinking. I could definitely get used to that. But seriously, how do we prepare for this new world of work where AI is basically our teammate, not just a tool?
Well, I think it's all about adaptability, don't you? It's about being open to learning new skills, new ways of doing things, and it's about working alongside technology, not being afraid of it.
So being comfortable with change, being open to new tools and ways of working, that's what's going to set people up for success.
Absolutely. And you know what? The people who embrace this evolution, they're the ones who are going to thrive in this new world of work. Think about it. If AI is taking on the routine stuff, it allows us to really focus on those higher level aspects of work, those things AI just can't replicate.
It's almost like AI is pushing us all to level up to become even more valuable. I love that.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that this isn't about replacement. It's about augmentation. AI is here to help us do more than we could ever do on our own. It's an exciting time.
I'm feeling inspired. So for our listeners out there, the ones who might be feeling a bit unsure about the whole AI thing, what's the one message we want them to take away from this conversation, this deep dive?
I think it's simple. Don't fear the future. Embrace it. AI is a tool, a powerful one, and like any tool, it's all about knowing how to use it. So be curious, ask questions, be adaptable, and you know what? Be ready to unlock some serious potential in this incredible new era of work.
I love it. Beautifully said. A huge, huge thank you to our expert today for unpacking this complex and honestly kind of intimidating topic. And to you, our listeners, thanks for sticking with us through this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, everyone.